Hi YouTube, Spencer here, Walk the Nerd, yeah. Shaw did. Um, Unfortunately, Stan passed away. He passed away a few days ago. I haven't found time to make this video until now. It's like late right now, but I just want to talk a little bit about Stan Lee. What he did, especially that was different. I mean, back in the '60s and everything with comics, comics were seen as this childish thing that only children should be reading. I mean, and but but Stan wanted to write the great American novel, and unfortunately, and I feel bad for him in this way, but I mean, there's things to feel bad about when it comes to Stan. Unfortunately, like he never wrote the Great American Novel. I mean, some would say in a way he kind of did, but he didn't. It was Stan, but Stan had a way he wanted to do things. He and I think a part of him was like, if I'm gonna do this, I want to do this the way I want to do this. I want to the characters that I'm writing, I want them to be human, I want them to have real emotions. And Stan was ready to quit. And Martin Goodman was like, Stan, Stan, DC, they're putting out books with teams. You don't need to do the same. And Stan wasn't sure he wanted to do it, but his wife told him, do it. You're planning on quitting anyhow. Why not do it? And so Stan wrote the Fantastic Four with Jack Kirby. And so started the Marvel Age of Comics, where characters. Now, I will admit, going back and reading those comics, nowadays it seems a little. Some of the dialogue seems a little goofy, but back then it was this. It was this he changed things, and that's a big thing. I mean, you had Superman flying up in the sky and everything. You had all these other characters, but but you know, but they were gods, or they were involved in a girlfriend. Stan and Jack had that, but they had more of a, like with the Fantastic Four, there was more of a family dynamic, and they still fought crime. With Superman would fly out into space around this time, and then he'd come back. You wouldn't see the space mission. You would just have, well, Superman has returned from another space mission, and then he got into this little thing with Lois, where honestly Lois was trying to court Superman, which was odd. But Stan and Jack were the preeminent team of comics. Now I'm going to talk about Jack in another video. This is not about Jack. I was just mentioning Jack's. I mean, you can't talk about co-creators with Stan Lee without talking about Steve Ditko either. And Steve and Jack are going to get their own videos, but right now this is mainly Stan Lee. What I like most about Stan's characters was that, he basically told us anybody can be a hero. You know, anybody can be a hero. Anybody can save somebody. You don't have to be this god, because you looked at Spider-Man, and underneath his mask, he was just a normal guy. And I think the best thing about Spider-Man, too, was that he could be anybody. And Stan recognized this. And Stan was in the what he called Stan's soapbox, he basically told, he addressed racism and everything. He basically just said, hey, everybody's, the way I would say it is, everybody's the same. You cut me open, I bleed, organs look the same and everything, you know. But I think that was, I think one of Stan's greatest gifts was just that when he worked with artists and stuff, all they had to do was talk about a plot real quick. They would go off, they would do the artwork, they'd come back, and Stan would just fill out the dialogue. Stan didn't care, you know, what they drew, you know. With Jack Kirby, I believe they were doing the Galactus storyline, and Jack created the Silver Surfer. Stan goes, "What's this?" And Jack goes, "Well, you know, Galactus has to have some type of herald or something." And Stan goes, "That's a great idea." And you know, he gave full credit to him for the Silver Surfer. Now, I don't think, because back then, when Stan was getting interviewed, everybody was giving full credit to him, and he could have said, "Well, no, I have co-creators," but he didn't do that. But you know, later on in his life, he definitely did that. Everybody got the spotlight, and I think it was just back then, you know, when people become famous, it goes through their head and everything. And I think that happened to Stan, and he didn't realize what he was doing. So we can't blame Stan at all, because we'd all do the same thing, you know. But he definitely gave his co-creators credit, definitely. Now, I'm going to end this video with a bad impression of Stan, and I don't want to taint his memory or anything, but I don't have a video clip of him going, "Excelsior!" You know, it's just, Stan was very active in the media, so the comic industry definitely needed that, but if you want to see more of Stan was a funny dude. There's videos on YouTube. I'm probably not going to link them, but you can still look them up. The Comic Book Greats. That's where he interviewed people like Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, and all that, and back in the 90s. And he also did How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, which is fantastic, especially if you want to get into comics. I mean, you don't get a full course or anything, but you get the basics. He basically tells you, you know, spears and everything. He gives you the full rundown. Just basic rundown. Now, if you want reading material that books that Stan wrote, I definitely recommend the Amazing Spider-Man series, all the way up till issue, I believe it was 100. I'm recording this with my tablet and I'm holding it. The original run on X-Men, the original run on Fantastic, the Stan and Jack run on Fantastic Four. That one is fantastic, you know. But definitely go check out these books and, you know, see what kind of legacy this man left behind. We all leave behind a legacy, no matter how big or how small. He just so happened to leave behind one of the biggest legacies in the world. He inspired millions of people. You know, I got into comics, and I thought Stan Lee created all these different characters. But yeah, just go check out the books. Check out any video you can with him in it. I definitely recommend the Comic Book Greats. The video's a little iffy. I mean, it was in the 90s and they were on cassette tapes and everything, but definitely check it out. Alright, true believers. I'm going to leave you with that. Excelsior.